Good morning. Today we are doing another lesson from the Monique Burr Foundation Teen Safety Matters program, and we will be discussing healthy and unhealthy relationships. Because this is such an important information, I ask that everyone please pay attention and participate in the discussion and activities after the video. Remember, we will be covering some sensitive topics. The expectation is that everyone will act maturely and be respectful of others' feelings, emotions, and privacy. And if the information we discuss is difficult to hear or talk about, you may excuse yourself to go to talk to your school counselor, social worker, or another safe adult. I also ask that if you have any personal stories to share related to what we are discussing today, you wait and share them after the lesson. Not because they're not important, but because we have a limited amount of time to get through the lesson today. Let's quickly review the 5 safety rules that we learned about in Lesson 1. Safety rule number 1, know what's up. Being aware of your environment and people around you. Safety rule number 2, spot red flags. Try to recognize potential dangers. Safety rule number 3, make a move. Involves getting away and staying away from unsafe situations or people. Safety rule number 4, talk it up. Means using your voice to help keep you and others safe by reporting to a safe adult. Safety rule number 5, no blame, no shame. Reminds you that you are never at fault and should not feel ashamed to talk to a safe adult. The first topic we are going to focus on today is healthy and unhealthy relationships. Abuse can also happen in a dating relationship. It is normal for relationships at your age to be confusing sometimes. You may like each other one day and not the next, and you may break up and get back together again. But a relationship that is abusive is not normal. To know when a relationship is unhealthy, you first got to understand what a healthy relationship looks like. The following are signs of a healthy relationship. Comfortable pace, not feeling rushed or pressured. Trust, respecting your privacy. Honesty, being able to share without fear or judgment. Communication, being able to talk about anything. Independence, have friends and activities that are your own. Respect, your partner values your time, beliefs, and opinions. Equality, making decisions together and putting in equal effort. Compassion, looks like care, concern, kindness, and support. Taking responsibility, not shifting the blame to others. Loyalty, they are reliable and supportive. The following are all signs of an unhealthy relationship. Intensity, extreme feelings or behavior bordering on obsession. Jealousy, excessive with lashing out and attempts to control your partner. Manipulation, attempts to influence decisions, actions, or emotions by ignoring you or using gifts. Isolation, keeping you away from family and friends, creating dependence. Sabotage, purposely hurting you or your reputation. Belittling, name calling, making rude remarks about you. Guilting, making you feel responsible for their feelings or actions. Volatility, looks like overreactions, mood swings, or violence. Deflecting responsibility, making excuses and blaming. Betrayal, can be lying and cheating. An unhealthy relationship could be considered relationship abuse when one person in a relationship tries to dominate and control the other person, is emotionally abusive, or is physically abusive. These behaviors are a red flag, and you should use your safety rules to make a move and talk it up to a safe adult, or ask a safe friend to help you to talk to a safe adult. Let's take a look at a video clip from Couplets.
I haven't seen you in a couple days. I've missed you.
Aw, I've missed you too.
I haven't seen you in 5 minutes. It feels like a lifetime. What have you been doing without me for 5 whole minutes?
It's been 3 minutes.
Remember, it's not only physically abusive behaviors that indicate an unhealthy relationship, but controlling and isolating behaviors are also concerns in a relationship because they are often signs of other problems to come. In fact, nearly 1.5 million high school students nationwide experience physical abuse from a dating partner in a single year. Here are some other facts. 1 in 3 teens in the U.S. is a victim of physical, sexual, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner, and violent behavior typically begins between the ages of 12 to 18. Both boys and girls may demonstrate unhealthy or abusive behaviors in a relationship. Violent relationships in adolescence can have serious consequences by putting the victims at higher risk for substance abuse, eating disorders, risky sexual behavior, further domestic violence, teen pregnancy, and suicide. It is important for you to build your self-management skills or ways to take responsibility for your own actions to help you stay safe. For example, using the safety rules can help you set boundaries and also help you have expectations for how you treat others and how you allow others to treat you. This is especially true in dating relationships. Only 1 in 3 teens who were in a violent relationship ever told anyone about the abuse. Many times, victims don't report abuse or controlling behaviors. It's important for all of you to be upstanders and look out for each other. I hope if you or someone you know is ever in an unhealthy or abusive relationship, you will remember to use safety rule number 3, to make a move, and safety rule number 4, to talk it up and seek help from a safe adult or have a safe friend help you reach out to a safe adult. If you are involved in a controlling or abusive relationship, or you know a friend who is, seek help. Don't be the person who suffers from mistreatment or abuse in silence. And don't be the friend who suspects something and doesn't speak up. Being self-aware and socially aware will help keep you and the people you care about safe. And if you are the person that is controlling, isolating, or abusing your partner, please get help before you do something you cannot take back. Use the safety rules and seek help.
Sexting is sending or receiving nude or revealing photos or sexually explicit texts. Sexting can be both risky and dangerous. Studies have shown there are a variety of reasons kids and teens are sexting, including to be fun, flirtatious, to show off, to be funny, to be popular, or simply because they're bored. Taking and sending nude pictures or asking for them or forwarding them can have social and emotional consequences, but if you are under the age of 18, it can have criminal and legal consequences as well. According to the federal law, sexual images of a person under the age of 18 are considered child pornography. If you take a sexual image or video, you can be found guilty of producing child pornography. If you send a sext, you can be found guilty of distributing child pornography. And if you ask for, receive, or keep a sext, you can be found guilty of possessing child pornography. It may be commonplace these days to sext, but if you stop to think about all the potential negative consequences associated with sexting, I hope you will agree the risk is not worth it, but only you can make that choice. Here's a true story about how this impacted a high school student in real life. A young man named Philip was arrested and convicted after forwarding nude pictures of his girlfriend after they broke up. He now has to register as a sex offender. He cannot get into college and he has trouble getting a job. The Cyberbullying Research Center has resources to help, including these tips. Number 1, delete any explicit images sent to you. Number 2, do not distribute explicit images. Number 3, ignore or reject any requests from others for inappropriate images and do not ask for them. Number 4, block individuals who make you feel uncomfortable with how they talk or what they send. Number 5, whether you are a male or a female, Do not support objectification of yourself or others. Number 6, if you receive an explicit image of someone, notify that person that their image is being circulated or report it. We've talked about a lot of digital dangers. Other risks can include things like exposure to pornography or inappropriate images of people without clothes on and exposure to online predators. Online predators are adults or even other teens who try to establish an online friendship with someone so they can groom them for sexual abuse or exploitation. They often use online gaming, social media, virtual reality sites, and apps to find kids and teens. They usually look for teens who are feeling unhappy or unaccepted by those around them. If you've heard of the term catfishing, which is when someone uses online fake profiles to pretend to be someone they are not, this applies to online predators as well. They may pretend to be someone else by using a fake profile. However, sometimes they are actually truthful about who they are. The abuse may begin as an innocent friendship or relationship. Then, once they've established trust, they try to force the teen to do things they wouldn't normally do, unsafe things such as sexting or worse. Once the predator receives an inappropriate picture, they force the teen to send more pictures or do other things to avoid making the picture public or their parents finding out. This is called sextortion. This is becoming a very popular way online predators try to abuse and exploit children and teens. Sextortion happens after someone sends a sexed or explicit picture and then they are threatened, blackmailed, or extorted and forced to send more or do worse to keep the original mistake a secret. Let's watch a video about this.
Hey Zach, it's me. I can't stop thinking about you. I know you've been waiting for this for a while. I wanted to give you something special.
Who are you? Why are you doing this?
Just so you know, this video was based on the real-life story of a teenager. This online predator was posing as a teenage boy, and they had been talking for a while so that he could gain her trust. She reported what happened and worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the perpetrator was ultimately caught with over 300 folders on his computer of girls' images just like this one. If someone is exploiting you, even if you think you've done something wrong, you need to remember your safety rules and report it. This type of harassment will not stop unless you report it and get help. Chances are, without reporting, it will only get worse. Use safety rule number 4 and talk it up to a safe adult. And remember safety rule number 5, no blame, no shame. It is not your fault and it is never too late to seek help and support. You can also report this type of behavior to the cyber tip line. This tip line will take reports of any digital abuse or exploitation. Next, we are going to talk about a tough but necessary topic, sexual assault. Sometimes, abuse in a relationship can lead to sexual assault. Other times, sexual assault is done by someone the victim doesn't know or doesn't know well. Sexual assault is any type of sexual contact or behavior that occurs without the explicit consent of the recipient. It is any type of sexual activity that you do not agree to, whether by someone you are in a relationship with or someone you do not know. It is anything that forces a person into an unwanted sexual contact or attention and includes rape or attempted rape. Sometimes teens are assaulted by people they do not know, but most of the time, approximately 68% of the time, victims know their rapist, a boyfriend, a friend, or a casual acquaintance. And 6 out of 10 rapes occur in the victim's own home or in a friend's or relative's home, not in a dark alley. In the United States, out of all sexual assaults, the majority of victims are between ages 12 and 17. And it doesn't just happen to girls. 1 out of every 10 rape victim is a male. What is consent? Consent is an agreement between 2 legally able participants to engage in sexual activity. Let's watch a video about consent. While the video may be entertaining and even funny, it is actually talking about a very important way to prevent sexual assault. So pay attention to the underlying message.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. Thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you could make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes, please. That's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, "Do you want tea?" because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they're safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, "But you wanted tea last week." Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, "But you wanted tea last night." But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea.
You should never be pressured into something when it comes to sexual activity, and you should never pressure someone else, even if you are in a relationship. Forced sexual activity should not be a part of any relationship. Everyone should respect others in the decisions each individual makes about sexual activity. Consent is everything when it comes to a healthy relationship and preventing sexual assault. Yes is yes, and anything else is no. And the yes has to be from a sober, legally able to consent person. To be very clear, the responsibility for relationship abuse or sexual assault lies with the perpetrators, anyone abusing or sexually assaulting another person. Pressuring or forcing someone to have sex is not only wrong, it is a crime. But we also play a role in creating a culture of kindness, respect, and prevention. By that I mean, Often there are bystanders who know of or see inappropriate behavior, sexual assault, or rape and do nothing. This allows these types of behaviors to happen or continue. If a bystander or someone not directly involved steps in to protect someone who may be at risk, then they become an upstander. If you see something, say something. Be a self-aware, socially aware, responsible decision maker. Get help, intervene, involve others. Experiencing sexual assault or hearing about a friend who has can be a scary and confusing thing. If you have been sexually assaulted, it is not your fault. And even if you've never told, it is not too late to tell a safe adult now. Remember safety rule number 5, no blame, no shame. If it has happened to you, or if it ever does, remember safety rule number 4, talk it up and talk to a safe adult. It is important to have someone to help you through it, to keep you safe, and to inform you of your options. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, call the police, go to a hospital, or call the National Sexual Assault Hotline.